During the 16th Forum of Interregional Cooperation held in Omsk, a civil institution of Kazakhstan and Russia signed an agreement for the first time. Representatives of the public chambers of Kostanay, Karaganda and Sverdlovsk regions signed the agreement. Participants highlighted that the event has become a new page in good neighborly relations between the border regions. Based on the results of the first day of the forum, the participants concluded almost 15 agreements between representatives of business communities and educational institutions.
Мы подписали с Омским государственным техническим университетом соглашение о сотрудничестве.
We signed a cooperation agreement with Omsk State Technical University. The field of cooperation includes academic and scientific activities. We were waiting eagerly for this meeting. Cooperation using the scientific and technological base of universities, as well as academic mobility of both students and faculty, are interesting for us.
Сотрудничество по академической мобильности не только студентов, но и профессорско-преподавательского состава. Это для нас интересно.
Today, at the Forum of Interregional Cooperation, leaders of the two states, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Vladimir Putin, will hold talks and sign a number of agreements aimed at expanding cooperation in various fields. Details on this will be continued in next news releases.
The experience of Kazakhstan in the repatriation and reintegration of its citizens who returned from war zones in the Middle East was presented at the Palace of Nations in Geneva. The humanitarian action was highly evaluated not only by members of the organization's states and also by the spokespersons of international associations and journalists.
I think what is much more important is the fact that Kazakhstan took its responsibility, repatriated the citizens that were in the Middle East in a very difficult situation, and is now trying to rehabilitate and to give them a future, whatever it may be, and in function of the crimes they may or they may not have committed. So yes, I think Kazakhstan in that regard is very much a model amongst many countries. And I very much agree with some of the declarations that were made here, that this experience needs to be shared amongst other countries, and that obviously it's very important that we learn the lessons and we learn what can be done.
The program that you have, the operation, is very, very interesting for other countries. Most Western European countries do not bring back their citizens, and you are doing completely the opposite, which I find interesting. You seem to have a very good rehabilitation program, big generosity, and this is something I'd like to write about, to maybe also give ideas to the Western European countries. To bring them home is probably the best thing to do.
595 Kazakhs were saved due to the special operation Zhusan. All of them had returned to the homeland and currently undergoing rehabilitation.
Министерство юстиции подготовило 106 документов для казахстанских граждан и выдало 41.
Kazakh Ministry of Justice has provided 106 documents and 41 birth certificates to citizens of Kazakhstan. Currently, a bill on the establishment of special status for citizens returning from conflict zones is being prepared and sent to Parliament for consideration. This status will allow the people to receive assistance from the state and return to their regular life as soon as possible.
Из бюджета государства и поможет им вернуться к нормальной жизни как можно скорее.
Meanwhile, the humanitarian action continues. A group of Kazakh children is expected to leave Iran in the near future.
New approaches of global cooperation will be discussed by experts from 30 countries in Nur Sultan. The 5th annual meeting of Authoritative Platform will be held from November 11th to 12th. The participants will discuss about the themes on global order, economy development, as well as unfolding global technology race. In addition, discussions on issues of nuclear disarmament and prospects of creation of a new format of partnership between European countries are also planned to be discussed. The presentation of results of international research, the top 10 risks for the region in 2020, will be held as well.
Свыше 50 человек представляют почти...
Over 50 people representing 30 countries, including laureate of the Nobel Prize, nearly 10 former heads of governments, current foreign ministers, directors of think tanks, in particular the Carnegie Foundation, large Chinese and Russian centers, as well as current politicians such as Mr. Fratkov, who is the former head of Russian intelligence service and now head of committee of the State Duma. A number of European politicians who represent all key countries of Europe are also expected to take part in the forum. All of the participants are interested in the construction of the cooperation between all countries of Eurasia. Nur Sultan hosted the second Forum of Rural Women, where discussions on issues including sustainable development of villages and rural areas, increasing welfare, as well as improving the quality of life through women's entrepreneurship and active participation of women in decisions of social problems were held. Nearly 300 delegates from all the regions of the state and 5 countries such as Russia, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkey take part in the forum. During the 2-day event, experts, business people, and politicians held discussions to identify the most efficient support mechanisms of business ideas in villages and popular projects. Kazakhstan has a women's agricultural union which we created, first of all, in order to raise the status of the rural women. Among the delegates, there are large business structures which are being led by women who speak about innovative approaches and projects in the agricultural sector. Such forums are really important since it contributes to the development of agriculture and the entire economy of our countries, including organization of small-scale farms, which are engaged in farming and vegetable growing. This is exactly what we want to introduce in the rural areas. We want to emulate the experience of the small farms that have made significant progress.
Серьезно хочу сказать успехов, вот это бы хотелось перенять для себя.
Cybersecurity is being prioritized in Kyrgyzstan, and challenges of the virtual world are given increased attention. These topics were paid particular attention, especially when the country is going through global digital transformation. The number of government bodies switching from paperwork to cloud technology is increasing in the country. Information is stored in servers. Cyber attacks are carried out in order to gain access to sensitive data. Experts said that the cyber attacks can be called a unique form of terrorism.
Это все делается для того, чтобы, во-первых, получить у нас информацию, во-вторых, потребовать.
Firstly, this is done in order to obtain information from us. Secondly, this is also done when attackers demand a ransom. In order to be safe and protect ourselves from cyber threats, we need to understand where the letter came from and what kind of information is requested.
Быть настороже для того, чтобы понимать, откуда отправлено письмо, какого рода информацию они запрашивают.
The cybersecurity strategy for 2019 to 2023 and an action plan for its implementation were adopted in order to effectively counter cyber attacks and protect the interests of citizens.
В Кыргызстане была разработана и утверждена.
In Kyrgyzstan, the cybersecurity strategy was developed and approved until 2023. There are specific agreements with foreign countries and large international organizations that will share experience and expertise on this issue. Great attention and an important place are given to information security issues when launching large information systems, such as the Tunduk system of interdepartmental electronic interaction and the State Electronic Portal of Electronic Services.
Важное место занимает вопрос информационной безопасности.
The first tourist information center is opened in the city of Bokhtar, Tajikistan. The center provides all the necessary information on the popular destinations in the country. Previously, the recommendation includes offering separate excursions for the tourists, but now it has been extended to full package comprehensive tours. The implementation of the project was done by young specialists.
У нас в Хатлоне существует
Our Khatlon has historical objects of world heritage such as Ajina Tepa, Takhti Sangin, and Oxus treasure. However, many tourists do not know about these objects. Even if some of them know, they still do not know who provides the excursion and services.
Даже не знают, куда обращаться, какие услуги кто оказывает.
The first tour will be for school students. We want to combine a few programs. The program includes performance in children's theatre as well as trip around the city, during which guides will speak about history of Bokhtar. This is a necessity for students to call home, go for a walk or go online. Khatlon region is the most densely populated in Tajikistan. There are a few tourists visiting this place so far. Ethno villages has been opened in order to increase the number of tourists. It is located 125 kilometers away from Dushanbe. There are various master classes being carried out in the village, such as sewing, needwork, and art. The tourists learn to bake tandoor breads and sweets from puff pastry. This district is not popular among tourists, although we have much to show. In addition to the traditions, we also have Tigrovaya Balka Nature Reserve, holy places and springs. Now, we can cooperate with travel agencies and the information center. Representatives of travel agencies have included the Ethno Village into their list of proposals for 2020. Kazakhstan took part in the World Travel Market London 2019 international exhibition. 6 major tour operators from Almaty, as well as Almaty and Atara regions, showcase colorful photographs of scenic spots and all the important information about the infrastructure and given conditions. They also made a presentation on the attractiveness of Kazakhstan. Tour operator from Manchester, Scott Hayden, showed particular interest in Kazakhstan. Scott wants to bring tourists from the UK to the country, and he believes that Kazakhstan will become a popular destination on the tourist map of the world.
It's got a really nice combination of landscapes and the new cities like Nur Sultan, and then obviously the old cities from the Silk Road like Almaty. I think it's got a lot to offer people for lots of different reasons.
Almaty contributes about 44% of total tourists who arrive in Kazakhstan. Based on the results, in the first 9 months of 2019, there are 205,000 tourists who arrived in Almaty from Europe. The figure is 15% higher than the number recorded last year. Pavlodar hosted a unique festival that aims to preserve and enhance national traditions. The festival gathered keepers of ancient Kazakh crafts as well as masters of decorative and applied art, akin, improvisers and folk singers from all over the region. The event ended with the project Caravan of Talented People of the Great Steppe. In 1 year, representatives of the Shanirak Center of Culture and Folk Art traveled to almost all the villages in the region and collected a rich ethnographic harvest.
Ата мен апаларымыздың ұмытылып бара жатқан, не болмаса өздерінің сақтап қалған сондай қолөнерлерін бәрін кездестірдік.
In the villages, we met with elderlies who carefully preserved the ancient skills and techniques in crafts as well as old-style music. We found out about previously unknown termes. One terme was the work of Yestai himself. We have learned in great depth about the varieties of aitas and terme. This is a unique knowledge.
Жүрген бір мақамын естідік. Тағы да бір енді термелер көрдік, бір 3-4 терме деп айтуға болады. Тағы да айтыстың түрлерін көрдік.
Bedspreads with ornaments and ancient musical instruments are displayed at the huge exposition. Visitors were particularly interested in the crafts works made of leather, felt, wood and metal. Craftswoman from Bayanawul, who presented the ancient recipes of Kazakh dishes, became one of the winners of the festival.
Бұрынғы ұмыт қалған тағамдарды жұртқа көрсетіп, жаңғырту ретінде көрсетіліп жатыр бұл тағамдар.
We demonstrate the forgotten recipes of our nation. For example, a dish called zhao zhurek is cooked using the liver and lamb fat. Each piece of the liver is simple but very nourishing. Previously, women cooked it especially for their sons who are warriors.
Оны бұрын ата-бабамыз, аналарымыз көбінесе мына батыр ұлдарына дайындаған.
Astana Opera Theatre has presented an immortal masterpiece, Don Quixote, by Ludwig Minkus. This is the production made by the art director of the theatre's ballet troupe, People's Artists of Russia, Altanay Asil Muratova. The role of Basilio was performed by soloists of the ballet Daler Zaparov during the evening performance. His dream came true since this was his first performance. Almost every artist wants to play this role.
Это ключевая роль
The role of Basilio is one of the key roles of the play. What I can say about this role is that it is funny. I think all young men when studying at the academy dream of Don Quixote being their first ballet performance because it is technically equipped and there are a lot of game moments. Most importantly, I was preparing the play with masters such as Asil Muratova Altenay Abdu Akhimovna and Zaklinsky Konstantin Evgenievich.
С мастерами своего дела этот спектакль, это Алтынай Абдахимовна, Константин Евгеньевич.
The famous ballet had a full house and received the most enthusiastic responses from art lovers. The spectacular performance, vivid characters, music and dancing did not leave anyone indifferent.